PSA, it seems like their turnaround times are getting extended. We saw they raised their prices as a way to kind of like help mitigate against some of that, maybe turn some of that those lower tier cards out, right? You're not going to want to submit as many dollar cards if you're paying $18 to grade it or something like that. But even now, with that higher price tier, we're starting to see those prices go up. Or not just the price to go up, but the turnaround time to go up. Do we think that we're entering another one of those periods where you're going to have to wait 6 months to a year to get your cards back if you submit through bulk, and possibly, months beyond your turnaround time, even if you submit at those higher tiers? Like, how are you guys feeling about that?
I don't think it's going to be as dramatic. I mean,
Okay.
COVID was obviously like a physical shutdown. Government required you to stop working. So that was a completely different scenario as to why. And we're at the point now where PSA has opened up a separate facility in New Jersey on the East Coast. So they've been ramping up production capabilities. They expanded their space in Santa Clara or Santa Ana. And I mean, I'm not seeing any delays with Beckett. I'm not seeing delays with CGC. So I just think it's they're prepared. They're not shut down involuntarily here. So it's still going to be, there's still going to be a backlog, but I don't think it's going to be as dramatic or get to the point where it gets that dramatic, because they'll be able to adapt quick enough in order to fulfill all the demand.
Do you think they would just raise prices again instead of that, like to try to curb some of that demand of, well, we're going to get the demand anyways, we might as well, we make more off of it, even if we lose some demand, we still make the same amount of money? Or like, is that the solution now?
No, I think pricing is so delicate to play around with, and they've done so many price hikes recently that
it's a lot. Yeah,
they might get to the point where they're truly just pushing people away to their competitors. So I think they're at the point now, price wise, and again, that could be completely wrong here. They've got all the info and analytics on this stuff, but I think they're at the point where they just have to ramp up graders and try to stick to the price point as the best possible, because it's. I mean, I grade with CGC for $9 or whatever it is on the
I think it's up to technically,
tier.
but
and it's 20 for, like, that's a massive difference. There's so many cards that I can't grade or shouldn't grade with PSA versus CGC, just because of it's taking away. It's a double the price point. So, I think they're probably being very wary and cautious with any more price hikes, I would imagine,
because we've seen a lot of like grading influx, right, of just not just normal consumer demand, but certain card releases that have caused people to like pandemonium, right? Burger Pikachu has eclipsed 100,000 graded, which is definitely like the Luka Doncic card of this era for Pokemon. We've seen, GameStop is now allowing you to bring cards in and submit through them, which is obviously going to expand out grading to a smorgasbord of consumers that never had interest in it before, never had put any money, into this before, that maybe they were just casual, kitchen counter. This is what we used to call them when we played, is like the kitchen counter players, like the people that play Magic or Pokemon or these card games in their homes, that you never see them. They never interact with any other part of the community. They just interact in their homes. That now, where they interact to buy their cards is actively promoting them of like, hey, you should be a part of this ecosystem. You should participate in this aspect of the hobby that you didn't before, which is going to cause a massive boom, right? And then we're seeing, on the other side, GameStop's doing their power packs. We're seeing all of these different facets that are leading into this grading. And it just made me start to think about, man, these turnaround times, and we're seeing a little bit of lag on the times, which is okay. We've seen it before, but it just starts to get reminiscent of, man, you know what? The last time we saw a big boom, it was an anniversary year. There was a lot going on. The markets were booming, blah, blah, blah. And everything, got super backlogged. And it almost feels like we're starting to have some of those variables trickle in. But it seems like you this time think it's different, that you're feeling a little more confidence in, a lot of the infrastructural upgrades that these companies have made to kind of being able to adjust with demand. And that, why would you take on one of those big
they're
endeavors
an
like
office
upgrading and stuff, and vaulting cards and all that, if you weren't going to have the capacity?
They're expanding their vault services. I imagine they're opening an office in Germany, I think Tokyo, like to actually grade now instead of just taking submissions. So
which that's a big one too, because they have a Japan grading now, which they didn't have back during COVID.
So
that's
that's going to mitigate, submissions to staying.
Canada too is getting their own thing, I think.
Yep, that's right. So I think their focus right now is, that's probably why they're getting backlog, because they're focusing on this expansion of the company and brand.
Sure.
And instead of just the grading aspect.